Well, Black Leaders Detroit gearing up for its Ride for Equity.
So joining us to share details about the initiative is Dewan Dandridge. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
We know this has been around for at least a little bit. I mean, long enough to
This
get
is year 4.
Yeah, year 4, which is really cool. Just for people that aren't aware of what it is, what is it? Where are you guys going? What's the idea behind it?
Yeah, so we started, I think, 2021, a bike ride from Detroit to Mackinac, and we always do it the week before the Mackinac Policy Conference. We call it the Ride for Equity, and it's a way to raise awareness for the cause, but also a fundraiser for the organization.
So what are you actually raising money for? I think people always ask you that question.
Yeah. So we provide funding for Black entrepreneurs operating in the city of Detroit, and we service the for-profit, nonprofit sector, and we do that primarily with grants and no-interest loans. So that's what the money is used for.
So it's about equitable funding. How much are you looking for each year? Has it risen, and kind of what's the sweet spot for this was a successful ride?
Yeah, so we raised $150,000 last year. So we want to at least match that, but we are planning to get the message out early so that we can go even farther.
I think when you do these bike rides, I mean, they're, what, 30 to 50 miles at a time, right? They're pretty lengthy.
So we average 52 miles a day.
Okay.
The longest,
52 miles a day.
right?
Do you participate? Do you bike?
I do. I ride. Yep. So I ride the whole way, and the longest ride is the 71-mile ride. And I think we have a ride at the end of the week that's a 36-mile ride.
Okay, so a shorter ride there at the end of the week.
Yes.
And how many people do you actually have participating in this? And how does it work in terms of the actual fundraising for the dollar?
So we have hundreds of people come out for what we call the ceremonial send-off. It's a really short ride from 6 Mile in Livernois in Detroit to 9 Mile in Livernois in Ferndale. It's slow pace, police escorted. So that we invite everyone to come out to. And even if you don't have a bike, a partner, Mogo, will provide a bike for a certain amount of riders.
Oh, that's a great idea, yeah.
Why choose biking? Why choose the riding? You know, when you could seem like you could just do, hey, we're raising money for equitable funding. What was the reason for riding the bikes?
So I think what I've learned is that momentum and money kind of like go hand in hand in the nonprofit sector. And we were scheduled to do a bike ride around the city of Detroit in 2021 to tell the story of Black entrepreneurship. It was going to be a route that would ride past Black business corridors, past and present. But the pandemic kind of killed being able to get a special events permit. But that was also the first time that the Mackinac Policy Conference was held late in the year, September. So I decided to start training like a month before the Mackinac Policy Conference, and I ran the idea by my then 15-year-old son, Bati, as we were up north, and I was just so happened to be up north. I was like, what if I rode my bike from Detroit to Mackinac? And I asked him if he thought it'd be a good idea. He thought about it for a minute. He's like, yeah, that could pick up momentum, Dad.
So look at you now, it's been 4 years already.
When you get the endorsement from your 15-year-old.
Who gets that money? You know, you said, about $150,000. Who are you choosing, or can the Black business owners sign up for, hey, we really need a chunk of this change?
So they can go to our website. If you're a Black for-profit business, majority Black-owned for-profit business operating in the city of Detroit, we offer no-interest loans, and they can apply online. We've distributed over $2 million to 450 plus for-profit and nonprofit organizations since we started in 2020.
And that number just keeps growing. I think you started to answer this. How do you actually raise the money, like mile per mile?
Yeah. So anybody that wants to support the organization can go and make a donation at blackleadersdetroit.org. But the riders actually come out and ride. They pay $250 donation to come and ride for the whole week, which is a 7-day ride. But they also reach out to their networks and say, hey, support me as I'm going to support this organization. And we have some friends and some cyclists that have some very generous friends that love our mission.
Get the pledges and get that support.
Yes.
What is the percentage of, when you look at business owners, are Black-owned businesses, are there less than them than, say, white-owned businesses primarily?
When you're talking about
just business owners in general, because I remember there was a CBS National story about, I think maybe just 5 to 10% of all businesses are primarily Black-owned. Is that the same in Michigan?
Well, I think if you're talking about like getting access to capital, maybe. But what we're seeing is like Black women in particular is the fastest growing entrepreneurs like in the country.
That's cool. I mean, that means that they're obviously hey, we can do this. And I think it's an inspirational thing too. When you see, I mean, you're in year 4.
Yeah.
So this is year 5 this year or year
No,
4?
this is year 4. One of the
Okay.
things that I'd love to mention is what we learned in ride 1 as I was training for the ride was that we have some very friendly neighbors to Black Detroiters in particular all across the state. If I'm being honest, we were coming behind a very divisive election cycle in 2021 where I was concerned about my safety at a certain point when I was riding and training. What we found when we actually did the ride was that people were very welcoming, and we had people that didn't know us that wanted to know what we were riding for. When they asked us about what we were doing, and we told them, they went into their pockets in real time and made donations to the organization.
Faith in humanity restored.
Oh, yes, yes. We have some very friendly Michiganders across the state.
What a special discovery to make along the way, right?
What are the dates of the ride, and can people still sign up?
Yes, you can go to our website, blackleadsdetroit.org, and sign up for the ride. You can actually watch the recap video from last year, May 19th through the 25th. You can come out and ride the whole week, or you can pick any day that you want.
Wishing you some nice weather for that week, right? We're going to
Appreciate
put
it.
that out there.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much
Thank
for
you,
stopping
Dwan.
by
Thanks
this
for
morning.
having
We
me.
appreciate it.